Let us start with documenting individual functions. So let us say we want to add a documentation to a Java method. Then how we can ask ChatGPT to do the same. So here is a prompt. Just type generate documentation for below Java method and just simply paste the Java method over here. Okay. So just write the prompt generate documentation for the below Java method and then paste the Java method to which the ChatGPT generate the documentation. Okay, simple, and just submit the prompt and let us see how ChatGPT generate the documentation. So look at here the ChatGPT response over here. So this is the documentation for this particular method, and if you notice the documentation, this is the method description and this is the documentation that explains the method logic, and this is the documentation that explains the method parameters. So this looks amazing, isn't it? So by looking into this documentation, any new developer can able to understand this method easily. So this is how the documentation help new developers to understand the logic of the particular method like this. Okay. Next, let us say you want to generate the documentation for a class and its methods. For example, let us say this is the class, it has a methods, and now you want to add a documentation for both class and its methods. Then what we can do is we can ask ChatGPT to do the same. So just copy the code and go to the ChatGPT and here just write the prompt generate or add the documentation for below Java class and its methods and just paste the code over here. That's it. Next, just submit the prompt and let us see how ChatGPT add the documentation. And look at here the response of the ChatGPT. So this is the documentation for this class that explains what this class does, and this is the documentation for this particular login method, and this is the documentation for this logout method. This is awesome, right? We don't have to spend a lot of time to write the documentation for a class and its methods. Just ask ChatGPT so that you can save your valuable time. In a minute, ChatGPT generates clean, precise documentation that follows industry standards. This makes your code far easier to understand.